The big story right now is time running out to buy cheap Bitcoin? Has BlackRock truly changed the game? Maybe. Maybe. Certainly, we're at an interesting point in this cycle here. BlackRock ETF stirs up US Bitcoin buying as research says to get off zero. Well, chances are, if you are here and listening to this, you are not on zero, but a lot of your friends and family will be, and it might be hard to change that during a bear market situation. Start of a new bull market, we can say. But it's the time in a new cycle where people still doubt. No one's really excited. Things are still pretty quiet overall, right? Sadly, most people only come back and buy Bitcoin at the new all-time high. I don't make the rules, guys. It's just how it works. It is just how it works. But here's the simple truth. According to me, these prices will not last for Bitcoin. The window to get a whole coin for most people, if we're being honest, has already passed, right? Bitcoin's worth $30,000 today. Not a lot of people have 30K just sitting around to buy a Bitcoin with. Even if you've been stacking for a couple of years, working a regular job, you might not still have a Bitcoin, but you could be close. You could be close. I hope you're close if that's you. For everyone else out there, people with perhaps a bit more means, well, the time's running out for you too, because once Bitcoin is worth $100,000, $200,000 a coin, the people who can buy an entire single Bitcoin can be a very small group of people. You know, in 18 months' time, when Bitcoin's trading at a new all-time high, your friends and family are even calling you up and say, gosh, you're so lucky. I wish that I had bought under $30,000. They could have. They could have, but they didn't call you when Bitcoin was under $30,000, did they? No, the phone calls come in, the DMs on Facebook from your uncle come in when Bitcoin is worth $150,000, $180,000. The media is talking about it, the late night talk shows are talking about it, and all that kind of stuff. Time is running out for cheap Bitcoin, though. I do believe this. Now, how much time that's going to be? Do we have another 6 months? Maybe another year, perhaps, right? The Bitcoin halving is a little less than a year away at this point. Historically, we've seen prices really take off after the Bitcoin halving. Again, I'd love to be completely surprised and see a new all-time high this year. I know some analysts are calling for that. We shall see. We shall see if history gets changed a bit, right? I like this sentiment here from this guy, British Hodl, by the way. He said, my dad could have missed buying 10 properties and I could have grown up and still bought 10 properties. Maybe not the same location, but same type, etc., but still to buy 10 properties, right? And yeah, the price of property to go up. But he says, if I miss owning one Bitcoin, my unborn children will never be able to buy one Bitcoin. That's the urgency. It's an interesting thought, right? At some point, the price of one Bitcoin will become so astronomical that it'll be almost impossible for the average human to be able to buy Bitcoin. You'll still be able to get loans to buy houses and all that fun kind of stuff and play that game, but you're probably not going to be able to get loans to be able to buy a Bitcoin. Maybe someone somewhere will get that, but you're not going to get Bitcoin mortgages, right? There you go. So pretty interesting thought process, right? We are definitely in that period of time. Also, this I thought was pretty interesting. We'll go ahead and play the little video in the background. 92.5% of all the Bitcoin has officially been mined. There's only 7.5% left to be mined. And you have to understand where we are in that process, right? We have to understand where we are in that process because we are seeing a situation where only 7.5% of the Bitcoin is left to be mined, and yet we don't have a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. We don't have a Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF. We don't have an ARK Bitcoin ETF. In fact, it's not a single Bitcoin ETF in the United States markets right now. Hong Kong is just starting to open up. Which is, of course, opening up the entire mainland of China. Because remember, what's happening in Hong Kong is happening with Beijing's approval. It's not happening in a vacuum. So in that situation where there's less or only a little over 2 million Bitcoin currently sitting on exchanges, right? Only 7.5% of the total supply left to be mined. Most of that will be mined in the next 15 years, after which point we'll have 0.5% of the total supply left to be mined over 100 years. We, again, are talking about a very interesting time with demand rising from companies, state level actors, financial institutions, regular people. I shared this data with you last week that just regular investors, the shrimps as they call them, the fishes, the little guys, right? The people who have less than 1 Bitcoin. The demand from those players, the buying demand from those small wallet addresses is more than triple, outstripping the daily supply being created by miners. Currently, less than 1 year from now, we are going to have the Bitcoin halving. Even if that demand from very small buyers stayed the same, we would be in a situation where they would be outstripping the daily demand by 6 times. And that's without BlackRock, that's without MicroStrategy, that's without countries and central banks and international transactions from countries like Russia and all this kind of stuff. Fascinating times, right? Again, I feel like time is running out to get those cheap coins, right? This here is a chart shared from the BINANCE monthly crypto research report. BTC and ETH outperformed as the institutions are coming narrative gained traction following BlackRock's surprising filing for US spot Bitcoin ETF. Additionally, other significant entities such as Fidelity, WisdomTree, and Invesco VanEck also filed for that Bitcoin ETF. We are seeing that Bitcoin season starting to heat up, right? Where a lot of altcoins have been suffering, particularly because of the SEC actions, basically arguing in their suits against different players that a lot of these things are securities. We'll see, of course, how this all plays out in the course. One thing that is not a security and has been pretty clearly deemed not to be by the SEC, of course, is Bitcoin. So we see all the funds, money flow into Bitcoin. We see US capital flow into Bitcoin. And we can see a very strong Bitcoin season really taking off. And to kind of add more fuel to the narrative of a big season coming, again, when that happens, exactly when we see new all-time high prices, likely next year. We could get surprised and have it happen sooner. But we are seeing things like the inflation coming down, right? We have seen some pretty strong moves in the inflation pretty steadily coming down for a while now. US CPI for June is due on Wednesday this week. Headline is expected to fall to 3.2% year on year, which would make it for the lowest print since March 2021. So the inflation problem is getting solved as well. All of these different things are starting to really happen, where we're seeing a lot of the concerns that people have had for a very long time now, economically, starting to subside, at least a little bit, which is very exciting. Now, before we get into some other interesting ideas here, I did want to let you know about my weekly newsletter. So this is called Wealth Mastery. Look, it's a crypto investor news report, right? So if you are a cryptocurrency investor, you want to know the latest news happening in the cryptocurrency industry, you want to know about what's happening with altcoins, NFTs, DeFi, right? The hottest, latest airdrops. We covered an airdrop recently that made about $6,000 to $8,000 for some people. Huge potential stuff here, right? People are missing these opportunities. We're sharing all this information with you every single week, and you can sign up for free by using the link down below in the description. So check it out. Now, I like this one here from Lex Moskovsky. He says, post BlackRock Forbes, because it's so funny how corrupt the media is, how much they are beholden to corporate powers, to corporate entities like BlackRock, who, again, owns everything. They control the world, right? This is not hyperbole. They sit on, basically have controlling shares or enough shares in almost every major company to be able to get whatever they want, whenever they want. So here we go. Look at this. New Forbes headlines. Everything you need to know about Bitcoin and the environment. This is a testament to the industry's commitment to sustainability and its potential role in the Green Revolution. How Bitcoin helps civilians escape the war in Sudan. Wow. Bitcoin's network to reduce more emissions than its energy sources produce. Terrorists, North Korea, and other illicit actors move beyond Bitcoin. I can't believe it, because this is how it works. You guys know this is how it works, don't you? These headlines are shocking, and those are all within like 24 hours of each other. All of these new headlines coming through about how Bitcoin's great for the environment, and Bitcoin's helping refugees, and Bitcoin's curing cancer and saving puppies from burning buildings and all this kind of stuff. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? This is the power of the financial institutions that are now coming into Bitcoin. It's the power of BlackRock and players like them. When they want to see a narrative shift, they shift the narrative. They create the narrative. They are the narrative. They are a very, very powerful player. And the fact that they're getting into Bitcoin, that they're starting to push these kinds of articles through their media machine, it's massive. Massive, massive, massive implications here for, of course, the long-term price of Bitcoin. And as I've said many, many a time, BlackRock's not our friend. They're not here for us. They're here for their own game, and we should not trust them. However, fringe benefit, they are going to pump our bags to high heavens because they're going to get everybody up on board in here buying up that Bitcoin. Also, JP Morgan saying that a Bitcoin ETF approval is unlikely to be a game changer. I want to interpret that for you. Basically, what JP Morgan is saying here is, hey guys, don't go out and buy up all the cheap Bitcoin. We are still stuffing our fat little bags full of as much Bitcoin as we can possibly get for us and our rich clients. That is the interpretation here, the translation for you of what JP Morgan is actually saying, because as we know, a Bitcoin ETF is going to be a game changer. That's why BlackRock is getting into it. That's why BlackRock is starting to push these kinds of news stories into the media, because they know exactly what's going on. And so does JP Morgan. You cannot trust either of these organizations. These are two of the most satanic and nefarious financial institutions in the world. Yeah. Okay. One final thought on this topic here. As from Rectomedes, at the risk of sounding overly bullish in a few years, even a tiny chunk of passive 401k, etc. inflows are going to be auto buying spot Bitcoin and spot ETH ETFs each month. We don't have Ethereum ETFs, but they're going to come. They're going to come. We may look back on these pre-approval days and regret not having seized the bag harder. Perhaps that time is running out, right? And the reality is we will have a new cycle. We have new insane prices, and we'll have a new bear market after that. And we'll have a new cycle after that with even crazier prices. The price of Bitcoin will just keep going up over time as more and more money starts flowing into it. As more money flows into it and gets locked away. You got to keep in mind that right now, 70% of Bitcoin is in the hands of psychopaths, crazy people. You might be one of them. People who are not selling their Bitcoin to BlackRock for 30K. People who are not selling their Bitcoin to JP Morgan's customers for 30K. Right? Long-term holders. 70% of the supply of Bitcoin has not moved in over a year on chain. That is crazy, crazy stuff when you actually understand it. And then we're going to have all these big funds coming for it. And when that Bitcoin starts getting locked up into these ETFs, people will be holding this stuff for 10 years time, 20 years time, holding it until retirement. That's going to lock up a lot of supply, and there's not a lot of supply left to go around. Long story short.